Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming. Always like to start off with a little humor. I'll try not to offend anybody, but you know I usually do. So, well, at least we're saving money on lawnmower gas. Grass slivers. I have grass slivers. My grass at home was brown before the rain, but it's now green. So I'm happy to get the rain, even if it does come in buckets. Hurry up! It's summertime. No time to lose. We have to relax quickly. I feel like that sometimes. August is nature's way of saying you were looking too comfortable. My therapist says I need to confront my demons. When are they coming back from summer camp? How was your vacation? I didn't see anything on social media and got worried. I don't care if there is a heat wave, get out of the freezer. Nice try. Okay, at least move over. It's been pretty warm. This is why you never take the top bag of ice. Apparently none of you have seen this. So, why the shutdown and why the masks? And I just kind of want to give you an idea. I have been telling you over the years through this pandemic the numbers since it all began. And what happened to us over the last couple months been pretty severe. So we actually had, since July 1st of this year, we had 51 cases amongst our residents, and ironically 52 cases amongst our associates. They were all mild symptoms for the most part, but how many of you have had COVID at this point? We keep going, we'll just infect everybody and forget all about these masks, right? How many thought it was a little uncomfortable? Anybody? Oh, not too bad, huh? Okay. We just had a huge number of cases, and you know, we didn't mandate masks for residents, but we did highly recommend, and I still highly recommend. We're going to lift the mask mandate for associates and providers probably next week. Our numbers of cases are trending down really significantly. We're all uncomfortable wearing them, of course, but in large groups like this and outside of Westminster, I still highly recommend that you all wear masks, okay? Since this all began, we've tested almost 15,000 times. Of course, some of you have been tested multiple times. Multiple associates have been tested, you know, every week, twice a week. Our infection rate's still pretty low comparatively, about 1.93%. We are fully vaccinated, 99.7%, both the associates and residents. All visitors need to continue to screen in. Associates must wear a mask, and all levels of care must be at least a surgical mask or better. Even after we lift the mandate for associates, visitors, and providers in independent living, the Center for Medicare Services is still requiring masks to be worn in healthcare and assisted living. So if you go visit either of those levels of care, you have to screen in just as if you were a visitor and get your temperature taken and make sure you're wearing at least a surgical mask. Visitation has been allowed with no restriction on number in independent living. That hasn't changed. You can have up to 3 guests in the dining room for lunch and breakfast, and actually we're not going to restrict the number of guests going forward for breakfast and lunch. You're still not allowed to have guests at dinner, and that's primarily due to compression dining, right? Transportation services are at full capacity, but masks are required on transportation, right? Even after the mandate's lifted. And the reason for that is it's not really as well ventilated in a bus or a car as it is in a room like this. So we really need to take extra precautions when we're on public transportation especially. And we still highly recommend a mask be worn outside of Westminster. And when you're in large groups like this, okay? We're not going to allow guests in for activity programs at this time, just as a further precaution. And really, Westminster is about serving the residents, you all. I understand at times you want to have guests and activities, but we need to focus on taking care of you all. We're quarantining only for those that are symptomatic. Still practice good hand hygiene. I know we kind of get lackadaisical about it, but when you touch an elevator button, go ahead and sanitize your hands. When you touch a doorknob, sanitize your hands. Wash your hands right when you get into your apartment. Practice social distancing when you can, especially if you don't know the people that are around you. Stay home if you're ill. Even if you think it's just, oh, my allergies are acting up, let's just stay home as a precaution. If you're not feeling well or you're in doubt, just wear a mask. Choose to protect the people around you. And then, if you don't have masks, just ask reception, and they'll be happy to give you one. Health center visitation is still restricted to 2 visitors at a time for both healthcare and assisted living, unless you're outside or you have a special event planned. Everyone, including residents, including you all, needs to wear a mask at all times while visiting the assisted living or healthcare center. Residents must screen in at healthcare and assisted living, so that little kiosk that you have your temperature taken, you all need to screen into that just like you were a visitor from outside, okay? Please follow all precautionary guidelines, and if you have any questions, reach out to Health Services Desk. Questions and answers. Can you tell us about the boiler project for the Preston? It has not started yet. We need a crane to bring up some equipment that we placed on the Preston building. It should start around the first week of September. And the idea is that all of the boilers in the various mechanical rooms around the Preston are going to be located on the roof. And the new system will have the ability to ramp up as the need increases for hot water. It'll also have a new recirculating pump, so it'll speed up the time that it takes to get hot water to your shower. And it's also going to have what's called a plate and frame system, so it's going to help us maintain the hot water at a higher degree so that it should work and function more efficiently than the old system. It also, the nice thing is that this new system has the ability to ramp up from 25% to 100%, thereby saving Westminster Gas utility costs over time. So it should pay for itself in a few years. Can you tell us about the library project? This project's covered on the next slide. There is a plan to change the cabinetry in the library, to remove some of the doors at the request of the library committee, and then to replace some of the shelving in those locations where we remove the doors with solid wood shelving. We're also going to take some of the angled shelving out for display, used for display, and replace it with horizontal shelving. We're removing some of the furniture, and we're going to be replacing the carpet in that area. And thankfully the air conditioning is now working there. So, but just quite a few projects to make it more user friendly and to give the librarians more storage space for books. Is there some way to recycle plastic utensils, aluminum cans, glass bottles at events and group gatherings? Yes, we'll work with the team on a solution for that. So they're going to start placing at big events like your tailgate party and things like that, a recycle bin that you can recycle those items. Can we leave the lights on in the bistro so that residents can meet in small groups to visit? Yes, we will leave the lights on going forward. Just understand that, that area is, not being served by food and beverage until dinner time, or, breakfast and lunch is not being served for dinner until we open that, hopefully sometime in the fall. I was told by food and beverage that there's some theft going on from the cabinetries in the bistro, so we'll be locking those. If you notice any of that, would you please report it? Some people are using the bistro as a grocery store, and the little store is downstairs in the Preston building. When will you merge the two fobs into one? This has actually already been done, so you shouldn't need your old key fob anymore. You'll use just the new black key fob. You're able to turn in the old fobs at the reception desk, and we'll start collecting those next Monday. So you shouldn't need your new key fobs or your old key fobs anymore. You can use your new black ones. The old key fobs will be discontinued, so we will deactivate those fobs probably around the middle of September. When will our apartment key fobs and building fobs be combined? Same question. So again, we'll start collecting the old fobs August the 29th. How many active charging stations do we currently have for charging electric cars? And I misspoke here. There are actually only 2 stations on campus for charging vehicles at this time. And it's not working right now. And it's not working because the city of Austin has not renewed the contract on it yet. We reached out to them last couple weeks and they should be doing that. We also had to purchase a new modem for the charging station, so that will hopefully correct the problem. How many charging stations will there be in the Carlisle building? So there'll be 2 more public-facing charging stations, and also the building will include junction boxes in the parking garage so that we can install more charging stations for personal vehicles. How many of you have an electric car? How many people are considering getting an electric car in the next year or 2? Okay. So we're working on that, and we'll probably create some kind of fee to add additional charging stations for personal vehicles. So maybe the cost of what it costs us to install the new charger, so the box itself, so that Westminster's not being penalized for that. How do we donate to Hidden Treasures? Best way is to contact Phyllis Waddle to have items picked up by a Hidden Treasures committee member, or you can donate small housewares at the cabinet in the visitor parking garage. What are we supposed to do with abandoned laundry? Take it home. No, I'm just kidding. Please leave it in the laundry room. Most of the time, residents remember that they left laundry and go looking for it. We will check the laundry rooms and remove abandoned laundry periodically, and then place in lost and found for 30 days, and then if it's not collected, then it's donated to Hidden Treasures. Are the charging stations working at the Windsor? No. I said yes, the system is back online, but it is not. It's still waiting on the city of Austin. And I think I answered the electrical outlets to the parking spots so tenants can use their own private chargers. We'll be working on a plan for this. Are we getting Spectrum Wi-Fi? If so, when will the change be occurring? I've answered this question before. Yes, the system backbone is being worked on right now. So what's going to happen is Spectrum, the same people that provide our TV and do such a fabulous job. I said that with sarcasm, but they're working on a Wi-Fi system, and what that system is going to do, you're going to have 2 systems essentially when their work is completed. You'll have the Inspire Wi-Fi system, which is Westminster's Wi-Fi, and then there's going to be a Wi-Fi system that's bringing Wi-Fi directly to your apartment units, so your homes. And it's going to provide faster Wi-Fi for all of your devices within your unit. And right now, they're installing, when I talk about infrastructure, all of the wiring that has to be done, all the wiring that has to be pulled throughout the building for all of your apartments. So, there's 255 apartments in the Preston building. They're pulling 255 wires from a central location near the elevator, the core elevators, from that location through the ceiling grid to the apartments. And then once that's done, they'll install routers or WAPs, wireless access points, to serve your apartment. So it's it's being worked on. It's not something that can happen overnight. The Inspire system is wireless access points that were installed in the hallways that provide coverage for your apartment. And if you, sometimes there's weaknesses in the signal, so you may be moved to one part of your apartment and it doesn't cover the whole thing. This Spectrum system will do away with that. But it won't provide all campus coverage. So when you're outside of your apartment, your phone would switch over to the all campus Wi-Fi, right? Does that make sense? It won't be in the courtyard, the Inspire Wi-Fi will, the Spectrum won't, it'll be in your apartment. So essentially there's gonna be two systems, and with two systems in place, all of your smart devices should fly just as if you were a college student, right? So you'll be super happy. You shouldn't have any spinning of movies and things like that. Can you clarify what happens when we press our pendant? And I answered this question before. The pendant notifies the emergency call system and identifies your location on the campus by triangulating your location. Then notifies security concierge on a pager that they all carry with them. The system shows on the pager your apartment number and location on the pager and the console. So it shows if you're in apartment 304, for example, the pager's gonna say apartment 304. That's gonna be your identifier, right? And you're either there or you're in another location. If you happen to be in the Windsor courtyard, then the security agent needs to press the down arrow and it will show them that you're located in the Windsor courtyard. I think we had an incident a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, where the security officer did not press the down arrow and didn't know that the resident was located in the Preston courtyard perhaps. And we did training with all the staff, but that's the way the system works. It doesn't just send us to your apartment. It sends us information on your apartment and your location. We just have to look. Can you provide education on recycling? I did have Stephanie Garza, the EVS manager, give me a handout, and I've included in these slides, but there's handouts back there on that credenza on your way out. If you'd like to, you can pick those up. They're a little bit hard to read, so we're gonna work on that. We're gonna try to make a better worksheet. But here's the gist of it. Our program is single stream, therefore all items may be commingled in the same container. The following: aluminum cans and foil, paper products such as home office paper, envelopes, phone books, junk mail, catalogs, newspapers, paper bags, except for gift bags. Shredded paper must be contained in a paper bag. Cardboard and boxboard products such as shoe boxes, gift boxes, food boxes, as long as they're clean, right? Paper towel and toilet paper rolls. Rinsed and dry plastic, water, milk, and beverage bottles, but no caps. Rinsed and dry plastic food containers, no caps. All glass bottles, glass containers, light bulbs, plates, etc. No broken glass. Empty medicine bottles, detergent and all-purpose cleaner bottles, soap, shampoo, and conditioner bottles, plastic, and the recycling numbers 1 through number 7 on the bottom of the container. All of that is recyclable, okay? Things that are not recyclable: styrofoam products, egg cartons, food waste, pizza boxes, plastic bags, films, and packaging. So those things, you could take plastic bags back to the grocery store. Paper milk cartons, Ziploc baggies, and trash bags. Masks and gloves, please don't stick those in your recycle bin. Strings of lights and other long flexible materials, coffee cups, soup bowls, and fruit cups. Please don't use your recycle for trash. If you need a recycling bin, reach out to Environmental Services and they'll provide you with one. Batteries, we do recycle batteries. All alkaline batteries can be disposed of in the black can located in your nearest laundry room. Somebody really wants to get a hold of me. Austin Resource Recovery, they come by periodically and they pick up those cans. Pickup day, valet, trash, and recycling services will be provided to all residents on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Everything should be out before 9 a.m. Pickup will begin at 9:30 a.m. Garbage chutes, securely tie all non-recycled items in a plastic bag and drop down the chute from 2nd through 5th floors. On the ground floor, place tied bag outside the EVS storage room. Please, no glass and garbage bags are in the chute at any time. If there are any questions or a special pickup request, call Stephanie Garza. Let us remember. What is going on with the Preston downstairs? Well, it's been a big mess. First, we had a fire, right? And then we flooded it. We didn't flood it, the plumbing did. But they're steadily working on remodeling of that. The plan is for a new resident theater to be created with the Resident Association office. And that's almost finished. And then we get a new fitness annex that will replace the current gym. And then a pottery studio, a hidden treasures room where the old theater used to be. And we're working on a concrete bid right now for that work on the exterior of the building. And then we'll put a woodworking shop where the current gym is located. How many visitors may we have for breakfast and lunch? There is currently no limit to the number of guests for breakfast and lunch. When will the mask mandate be lifted? There is no mask mandate for residents at this time. Masks are highly recommended, especially in large groups. Masks are required for everyone, including residents visiting and working in healthcare and assisted living. Visitors, providers, and associates are required to wear a mask at this time in all areas of the campus. We will likely reduce this requirement in early September. So I'll probably send out a memo Friday with a date for reducing that requirement. Why did we waste money on the new key fob door locks? Try to be kind when you ask the questions. It is not a waste of money. It makes our building and homes more secure, provides for monitoring of doors and access control and security. The access control that can be changed and audited at any time. So if we have an associate, for instance, that does something wrong, though we have great associates here, I can't imagine, but we terminate that associate. This way we have complete control. We can deactivate their key fob immediately, right? And heaven forbid this ever happens, but it has happened while I've been here. I've been here a long time. Some of you residents have been very trusting of your family, and there's nothing wrong with that, until your family takes advantage of you and steals from you, which has happened. They've stolen checks from people, from our residents, and forged their names. And when you have a mechanical key, and there's a lot of keys floating around out there, I have very little control to step in and intervene on your behalf. But if I have a key fob that I can deactivate their access, then it gives us a lot more control. And that's one of the reasons. We really want to maintain as much access control as we possibly can. And I hope that never happens to any of you, but it has happened before. Can we please put solar film on the windows by the game room and library? These windows actually have solar film on them. This resident was complaining about it feeling like a cave when they walked through there. I don't know that I've ever felt that way, but we'll look at trying to get something more reflective possibly as time goes on. And I know that we're intending to install the roller shades similar to these on the section on that bridge that doesn't have it. And then thank you, Mrs. Gerling, for reminding me that we need roller shades in this room as well. We'll work on that. Why don't we have in-care notices in the mailrooms that let us know when our neighbors move to assisted living or healthcare? this has been a point of contention for a long time. And what we found out when working with legal counsel is that we need permission to post that information, because even if we put it in the mailroom, it's kind of public facing. We only have about 60% of you that are participating and willing to have your name listed. So I think what we're gonna do going forward, I was talking to Robin Akins about this, and trying to create a posting on the resident portal that can be updated weekly. And you can have access to that, but it's password protected. Rather than having it posted on the portal, and then if you can't access, how many of you can use the resident portal right now? Raise your hands high, be proud, show me. Okay, good, that's really good. I'm glad to see that. And I think the more we get used to using the portal, the easier it is going to be. But we will, actually, Ruth created a tab for this in-care list to be posted on the portal, and we'll start doing that probably next week. Why are the soap dispensers in the solarium restroom so high? I don't know. I asked for them to be moved down, so I asked again. They're supposed to be lowered. They are pretty high. Can we please replace the ugly chairs outside of the, see, be kind. I mean, you don't have to call them ugly chairs. I didn't pick them, but the interior designer thought they looked nice. Can we please replace the ugly chairs outside of the exercise room with the game room tables and chairs? So we're gonna discontinue the game room and replace those tables and chairs. No, we won't do that. And add the game room to the library. I think the library might like that, but the people that use the game room probably wouldn't. I have to maintain a balance between the two. So no, the wellness lounge is a waiting and conversation area. The game room is still heavily used and will remain. The library will have adjustments made to facilitate efficiency in the library. So we'll work on those things. Can we have, I changed the wording on this question because it's a little meaner than this. Can we have a functioning copy machine in the library? Why? The question was, why can't we have a functioning copy machine in the library? And the whole head wobble was there too. I read it, I heard it. Anyway, yes, the machine was, yes, we want you to have a working copy machine. I'm sorry it broke. Stuff breaks, even me. We all break sometimes. But the machine was repaired. My understanding though, it did take us a few times to get it repaired. And I think, they're missing parts or whatever, but it is repaired, and we do want you to have a functioning copy machine. Please update the residents on the fire alarm, what we should do. And I do this all the time. When the fire alarm sounds, residents should shelter in place in their apartment home, but be alert and prepared for the potential of an evacuation. You will be notified by our staff or the fire department if you need to evacuate. Residents should refrain from calling the reception desk because when the alarm sounds, we know it's sounding. Also, there is no need to press your pendant or pull another fire pull station when the alarm is already sounding, because that just adds confusion, right? So really it's about sheltering in place. I think I've talked about this before, and I know that when the fire alarm sounds, it's scary. It's really loud, and no, I can't turn it down. It's designed that way so that it wakes you up. And I know that people get concerned about fires in large buildings like ours, right? But our buildings, all of them, both the Windsor, Preston, and now the Carlisle, all designed very well, and they're all built into zones. Even the apartment itself is a zone. The apartment itself will contain a fire for 20 minutes, right? And then beyond that, each fire zone will contain the fire for 2 hours. So plenty of time for us to evacuate. And a lot of the alarms are not necessarily false alarms, but sometimes what happens is people burn stuff around here. We especially like to burn toast, bacon, and oatmeal. You shouldn't put oatmeal on for more than 3 minutes. 30 minutes is too long for oatmeal. But what would happen if you do burn your oatmeal, bacon, or toast, or whatever you're burning, don't open your hallway door. Because what happens when you open your hallway door is the smoke gets into the hallway. And that's when you wake everybody up. The whole alarm system will go off. But if the smoke is located in your apartment only, and you pull your emergency cord or your pendant or you call reception, then we can come to your apartment and we'll put a fan in your window and then we'll blow the smoke outside. That way it doesn't bother your neighbors and we don't set off the whole alarm system. Okay? But certainly if you actually have a fire, do pull the station, right? Or do pull your emergency call. But again, shelter in place. What to do when there's a tornado warning. So when a tornado warning is announced, it'll be announced over the emergency call system and also over the business phone system. Warnings will be announced when there is a tornado warning for our area. Residents at that time should move to an interior corridor space away from glass, so windows and doors, exterior doors. Try to move to an internal corridor, right? And wait there, closing your apartment door behind you as you leave, ideally, right? And shelter in that location until an all clear is announced over the systems. There is no need to press your pendant or pull a fire pull station during this type of emergency either, unless you're injured, of course. And everybody knows what a warning is, right? Okay, good, because I can't read the small print. Everybody knows what a watch is, an advisory, an outlook, okay. Construction update. So they've installed the elevators in the Carlisle building. Starting at the end of this month, they're going to be closing down the road around the Windsor and the Carlisle as they repave it and reconcrete that area. We're also in October, early October, going to have to close down the North Healthcare Center entrance for about 3 weeks, probably around October the 4th. And they're going to repave and reconcrete that area. So this is all of the final work to connect the roads, which is a good sign. That means we're on schedule. We'll be doing city inspections from about the middle of October to the middle of December. Again, the substantial Carlisle completion is 12/29. It's real, folks. It's almost here. It's almost over. We expect to move in our first Carlisle independent living resident on the 18th of January, and we expect to have everybody moved in by April the 22nd. We'll start moving memory care and assisted living around February 1st. And everybody knows what the building looks like. This is what the Carlisle looks like today after the rain. Sound system in Harrisburg Hall and Bistro has been installed, still waiting on control boards. They also installed the drop screens. This is our new drop screen. You'll notice that it's not very bright. That's because that projector is not very bright. We have a new laser projector that's supposed to be installed. It'll be installed in the ceiling. Once the control boards and everything are installed, this will be a much better room. But until that equipment comes in, we're going to have to kind of limp along. And I think you probably heard a lot of the stuff is on back order. Some of it's coming from China, so it's difficult to get in. But they're actively working on actually pulling wire between Ruth's office and this room, because at the end of the project, the intent is that we're going to be able to record on real cameras in this location the activities that go on and play them on 1890. This will be just a really good upgraded AV system, but we have to get all the pieces in. I mentioned the signage project before the meeting began, but the assessment's been completed. residents have helped me review the plan. We've made some edits to it. She's taking those edits back to her office, and then we'll create a plan and bid that I'll sign off on, and then production should begin for the new signage on the interior of the building. And this is to bring all the 3 buildings together. The exterior signage has already been signed off on, so it'll probably be installed towards the end of September. And then this project, the interior signage will probably be done in October. So it's coming soon, coming in the fall, which is good news. And we're also, I think, we have a really good plan for showing on the front of the buildings, the front lobby doors, the address in big white letters so that people should be able to see it easily. Hopefully they'll cut down on the confusion. Spectrum cable boxes are actually installed. Has anybody not had their new cable set-top box installed yet? Okay, they should be to you shortly. They're tying up any of the leftover apartments they should be moving into now. Spectrum Wi-Fi, we talked about that. Keyless entry system, so common doors, they'll be working on that in the next couple weeks, and then the system will also be online. So what happens then is all of these keyless door locks will be online, so we'll be able to control them from a computer at security. So in Mario's office. The beauty of that is when your batteries get low, the system will tell us your batteries are low and we need to replace them. We can also run a report to show us who's gone in and out of your apartment if you wish us to. All of that kind of access control. We can also change access immediately from the computer, and all that's password protected and limited to just 3 directors, Brent, Mario, and myself. Solar roof project, so good news that the Windsor and the Preston building, all of the solar panels have been installed. All of what they call the DC work has been done. In about 4 weeks, they're going to complete the AC work, which means they'll actually attach the electrical to our grid, and so we'll actually be producing our own power. It's going to save us thousands of dollars a month. And actually, I just received word that we're going to get a rebate from the federal government that will pay for an additional 30% of the project. So it's great timing. It's really worked out well for us now. We talked about the remodel of our Preston ground floor. Dining services, you still need to make reservations for 5 or more. No reservations required for 4 or less. For parties of 8 or more, please contact Sarah Faust. The bistro is open for breakfast and lunch only. Dine-in will close at 2 p.m., open till 4 p.m. for to-go orders, and no guest at dinner. Let's see. So we just received a new award thanks to your resident satisfaction. And I'll report more detail on your resident experience survey, resident satisfaction survey in our next resident association meeting. But we've received the 5-star Sinsight Resident Satisfaction Award. This is for communities that scored above 85% resident satisfaction. Westminster scored 96%, would recommend, so that's awesome. And that's 12% better than the industry average, so I thank you for that. Also 97% satisfaction with handling the pandemic, and I appreciate that very much. This pandemic's been hard on all of us, and I'm really happy that you are satisfied with the way that we've handled it. We had 89% participation community-wide, which is really fantastic. I was shooting for 100%, of course, but the industry average is around 64%, so really good participation. Thank you for that. And we had a 93% overall satisfaction, so really great satisfaction results. I appreciate it very much. Although I did lose a couple points for not being warm and friendly. And I will find you. No, I'm just kidding. I want to work on that. I think part of it is I think And I really enjoy spending time with you. I don't get to do it as much as I would like. I would love to go on more activities and things with you guys. But the pandemic has been pretty rough, and I did try to isolate. I tried to isolate our department heads from each other, and I tried, like I used to have lunch with them almost every day, and I really didn't during the pandemic because I didn't want to take a chance on all of us getting sick at one time. And then also, you know, I haven't been able to spend as much time with you as I'd like because I'm handling this or that, the expansion, the pandemic, whatever it happens to be. But I see you enjoying yourselves in the dining room, and I don't like to intrude. But I really love seeing you enjoy yourselves. So maybe I need to assert myself more and stop by. How many of you like when I stop by your table and say hi? So it's about half and half. So either I'm going to be warmer and friendly and offend some of you, but I'm gonna work on that a little bit. And I'm sorry for not being warmer and friendlier, but it's hard to see my smile underneath the mask. I thought about drawing one on, but I just could never make it right, so I don't know. Just a reminder, Extraordinary Impressions star cards. Please fill those out. The associates love to see them. Also make sure that you're filling out your comment cards in the dining rooms because the food and beverage staff are getting incentives based on those. Star cards can be turned in at any reception desk or any member of management. Star cards are received by the HR department and tracked, and Stars of the Year receive awards through that. So star cards are used to identify associates that go above and beyond, and they are used to show appreciation, and all associates, regardless of their position, can receive a star card. Rachel Gill asked me to talk about this. Typically every quarter we try to do a fundraising campaign for different charities around Austin. Starting this month, September 1 through October 10th, we're going to be raising money for Safe Alliance. Donations will be matched by Westminster up to $1,000. Safe Alliance is a great organization, and they're in business to stop abuse, which is a great cause. And so if you can, support that organization. To donate, please make a check payable to Westminster with Safe Alliance written in the line. Checks can be turned in to Rachel Gill or the Preston reception desk. And while I'm thanking you for donations and asking for donations, thank you all for participating in the Alzheimer's Texas fundraising. Thank you for donating to me and Ruth and all the other folks that you've donated to and supported that. Alzheimer's is, fighting Alzheimer's is a great cause, and we do see the results of Alzheimer's and what it does to families and our residents, and it's horrible. And I think all of us associates like to feel that we are fighting against it, right? That we're trying to end it. And actually, over the years, we've made great strides in discovering whether residents have Alzheimer's, putting interventions in place. There's medications now that there didn't used to be. There's tests now to determine where you have it. We have a much better regimen to fight Alzheimer's than we did just a few years ago. So, and a lot of that's been done through your support and our fundraising over the years, and I appreciate that very much. I think this year we may raise more than $100,000. So, thank you for that. And that's all I've got. You want to do some Q&A? Oh, somebody did submit a question. Why can't we keep a fitness coordinator? And I don't know. Actually, I think you're chasing them off. No, I'm kidding. The young lady that we hired, we really had high hopes for. She decided that she needed to move back home, which is New Mexico. So we wish her the best. I think Robin's working on a replacement.
Fingers washed. We didn't have them do all during the construction of the Windsor extension, and the windows are so dirty, they're terrible.
I thought we cleaned the windows this year.
No.
I signed a check for $47,000 to have the windows cleaned. They may have missed yours. I can't remember, was that May? That we had the windows washed? No? When was it? I know we did it this year. No, it was this year, in the spring.
Yeah.
I will check into it though.
What is the relation between the new Wi-Fi system and the Spectrum Wi-Fi that I pay for in my apartment?
There's really no relationship. If you want to continue to pay for the Wi-Fi in your apartment, you can do that. I think that our Wi-Fi is gonna be just as good. But I would wait until our Wi-Fi is installed and you determine that for yourself. But there are several residents that have Spectrum Wi-Fi or AT&T.
I think there are a lot of us.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of us.
So, you know, this is supposed to be just as good, but I would wait until they prove it to us. But maybe that could save you some money down the road.
Well, they probably aren't going to do anything in the apartments where we have our own Wi-Fi.
No, we're gonna go ahead and install it.
What's the status of the garage door?
I wish I knew.
It's
No, and I don't know. The, part that we needed was supposed to be in Wednesday of last week. It's still not here. That's one of the reasons we activated the key fob access to that elevator, because of that. And we wanted to have key fob access to that anyway, but I really hate that that garage door is not working. What I asked Brent to do is to get it working as quickly as possible, and also to keep a motor here on hand, so if it breaks down again, that we can replace it immediately. Because we really shouldn't have that access. Speaking of access controls, right? Yes, sir.
Apologize for coming in late.
It's okay.
Blame our son, you can blame it for son. You may have answered the question before, the combining of the two fobs, is that?
You can do away with your old fob. We would like you to turn them in at the reception desk starting Monday. So your black fob that you have will, is it blue? I'm sorry, mine's
I
black.
have blue and black.
Okay.
Blue for the apartment, black for everything else.
Okay, so your blue one,
Bigger.
the bigger one, will open both the apartment door and all exterior doors at this point.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll let you turn those in at the reception desk, and then, like I said, we'll deactivate the old one September 15th. Yes, sir.
Recycling, the announcement said that light bulbs are recyclable. Does that include compact fluorescents? Because I always thought they were not, that fluorescents in general were not.
I don't know, I just read this sheet. I don't really
Well,
know. Other than what's on the sheet, I would assume they are, and then if they aren't, then our team will pick them out. But also, I can tell you, I'm not sure if they're recyclable through the single system or not, but we have a program where we turn in fluorescent bulbs to our light bulb company, and they pick them up, and I think they recycle it. So I would go ahead and place them in your recycle bin, and then our team will take care of them.
Thanks.
I'm not sure, you're right though, I don't think it goes through Austin, I think it goes through our light bulb, provider.
That's got some toxic stuff in
Yes, it does.
I have a question back to Wi-Fi.
Okay,
The ones of us that do banking
yeah,
on our computer,
yeah.
is this Westminster Wi-Fi gonna be safe for us to use?
I believe so. There,
It's not like going to a public library or Starbucks.
no. So, once the Spectrum Wi-Fi is installed in your apartment, that will be, localized to just your apartment. I would not use the Inspire Wi-Fi that's public facing. I wouldn't necessarily use that, but I would be more apt to use the Spectrum Wi-Fi. But both are protected by firewalls. But the Inspire system, everybody and their dog can use it, you know. The Spectrum, the Inspire system, everybody can use it. But the Spectrum system will be localized to just your apartment. Yeah.
I'm Bernie and I'm on the technology committee and we are working on training for the portal. So for those of you that are very happy. Okay, on the technology committee, on the technology's not working. We're planning on doing some technology training on the portal. So access the portal, great. If you're having some issues with getting to the portal, come to our Wednesday from 10 to 11 in the solarium, and we'll help you get on the portal. And if you need specific help, we'll also help you. But we are planning some training, and based on the number of people that raise their hand, which was great.
Yeah, really good.
We'll probably do two kinds of sessions, one intro if you just sort of it's there and you haven't done much with it, and then for you to have a few more questions in more detail about a little bit more expert kind of a session.
So Wednesdays at 10 in the solarium, the IT committee, 10 to 11.
Wednesday,
Great.
and then
And no charge, right?
no charge.
Wow, what a deal, folks.
And we'll also schedule, you'll see something that will be scheduled shortly, for some big training, in this room or, where there's a TV.
Awesome, thank you. That was a commercial break. Public service announcement, since it's free. Any other questions? Anything for the good of the order? All right. Be nice to the new fitness coordinator, will you? And let's not mention an office. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great week. Rest of your week.